What's up guys, Ivan here with getivan.com, and in this video we're going to be comparing ScraperAPI with Webshare shared data center proxies. So this is a service that every once in a while somebody asks me, what about using ScraperAPI with Scrapebox? And every once in a while I give an answer, and at this moment I cannot recall what I typically say, but it's basically that it's not as good as Webshare. That's a long story short. So what I'm trying to do here is revisit some services and compare their features on paper, and if they seem to compete with Webshare on paper, then I'll go in and do a trial or pay for a small thing and actually compare the speed and the performance, the actual success rate of the two proxy providers together. So let's take a look at these proxies here and see if they can compare. Let's zoom in. Scraper API handles proxies, browsers, CAPTCHAs, so you can get the HTML from any web page with a simple API call. Okay, let's look down here. Bunch of API, this and that. And let's look at the pricing. Okay. And this is the reason why I don't recommend this service, because you get credits. Now, why on earth would I want to pay for credits? Like 3 million 3 million credits? That's like 3 million URL queries. That's basically 3 jobs on 3 of my average processes, and that doesn't count. Let me think. I reprocess URLs per order also to filter them down, so this might even be 1 job and for my average thing. The quantity of concurrent threads is also really poor. 50 concurrent threads is like nothing. I mean, well, it's not nothing, but it's not a lot. You know, when I run jobs, I want to do as many as threads as I can. The average would be 500, and then some things that I run, I have to do like 200 threads. So this is just, I mean, this is something, but it's just not ideal. These are residential proxies according to this, though, so these are better than data center proxies. So really, this is not a fair comparison to Webshare, because data center proxies are going to be more expensive on average and more successful, but you're gonna have, they're less prolific. Like you can't run as many concurrencies on average. So I wanted to cover it anyways, I guess, because it's often brought up, you know, and so I just wanted to make this comment. You know, I still choose Webshare over this for scaled processing. And for my residential use case, I use Proxies.com. So just a side note there, you can get a whole lot more done with Proxies.com, which would be similar to what this is doing. Not the same, similar. Now, one thing I will give this service is it says JavaScript rendering and JSON auto parsing, but particularly JavaScript rendering. That ought to get your attention, because that means that it has the ability to scrape things like Google Maps. So this is a more of a special use case service, but it doesn't compare to Webshare. So let's skip over to Webshare, and you can see Webshare is like super cheap. 100 proxies with unlimited bandwidth, so no limits on those calls or whatever, those queries. that, you know, instead of 3 million calls to the API or whatever, 3 million URLs processed, this thing can do an unlimited quantity. So 100 proxies, that's at least 100 concurrencies, right? So double the concurrencies at the minimum. One refresh every month on the pool, they're shared IPs, with high concurrencies at 5K plus. So you can run a lot more concurrencies. So I use this to process a diversity of website URLs for mainly for just like your average business, because most websites don't have scraping protections, and then even ones that do, like if you get a hold of their sitemap, you can scrape a huge quantity of URLs super quickly. And so what you want with data center proxies is a large pool of proxies, and then you want a large number of connections so that you can just scrape that stuff up real fast, you know. So that's only $40 a month, so it's really cost effective. So check out the link below, and that's my link to Webshare. Much respect if you use that. I really appreciate it. But if not, no worries. Best to you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.